Fast Signs are an established family-run business who've been providing businesses around Leeds and West Yorkshire with effective signs and graphics for almost 30 years. Fast Signs are passionate about helping customers make a statement with signs that are eye-catching, effective and delivered fast.
How do you think Brody Croft looked today?
Thought he looked like Brody Croft, but in a better coloured jersey.
Leeds has won back-to-back rugby league titles. The golden generation finally has its golden fleece. No England game, it seems, is complete without a Ryan Hall try. Jamie Kickoff.
Kevin Sinfield.
Rob Burrow.
Jamie Jones Buchanan for Leeds.
It's one of the most popular beards in rugby league, that.
There aren't many in Super League that can do that.
We just want to be a great friend, and if we can all try and be a bit of a better friend from time to time, I think we have a bit of a better place to live in.
Hi everybody, welcome to the Lot Pod, the Leeds Rhinos Lot 17A podcast, kindly sponsored by Fast Signs. This is the match review panel for Leeds Rhinos, the treble winners 2024 against Catalan Dragons. Joining me as always, my right-hand man, my co-host, but our amazing statsman, Statman Reese.
I'm a stat man.
Freeze.
Sorry to throw you, because we didn't prep. I didn't prep that I was going to ask you this question, Reese. I apologise profusely, even though we've just spoke about what we're going to talk about in the production meeting prior to coming on, because I do plan these things. Did you get your tickets sorted yet?
For which game is that? Are you alluding not to Lee away? I believe you're alluding to the grand final. Is that what you're alluding
Correct,
to?
yeah. Have you done your IF form? IF form?
No, I've not yet. No.
Is it something that... Have I just reminded you to complete it after this recording?
Yeah, I'm certainly more urgently needing to fill that form in.
Everyone else
after yesterday.
Everyone else listening on the live chat and X and Twitter, wherever you're watching this, wherever you're listening back, just remember, guys, get those forms in and get them in nice and early and get your tickets bought. How are you? How are you feeling? I know you hit the bevy quite hard yesterday.
I had a few bits yesterday. I've decided I really do like Saturday afternoon games. I do like them, but the other problem is I just get a bit too giddy. Yeah, and then we win.
Those are the Saturday afternoon games. Are the ones when you wake up sweating Guinness.
Yeah, I have been. Went for a walk today. Got taken for a walk with the wife at 9 o'clock, and I could just smell and taste Guinness. But no, I had a really good evening with Laurie yesterday, so it was good fun. So
excellent. Leeds United, absolutely. I won't swear, but crap.
Bottled it, didn't they? Tried to ruin the day,
and we almost had, because Scum lost, Rhinos won.
Nearly the perfect weekend.
Almost there, almost there. Early days of spring, and just absolutely appalling Leeds Rhinos. One thing, as I made my way to the ground, I walked past, is it St. Michael's Chippy?
Yes, yeah.
I haven't been in there for about 8, 9, maybe even 10 years. It smelled amazing. Shout out St. Michael's Chippy.
Well, yeah, they've always got a massive queue out there. I've never had Chippy from there before, but because I can't be asked queuing. But I feel like I might have to do it at some point.
It genuinely smelled like, and I'm not joking, again, listen to this, St. Michael's Chippy, the best smelling chippy I've ever walked past. I've walked past it thousands of times.
And if you're listening, if you want to sponsor the podcast, get in touch.
Yeah,
Slot17a@outlook.com.
Just had some free advertisements. we're not asking much. Just took us a couple of specials.
Yeah, just a couple of specials.
No, we won't. So that's us. That's Leeds United. That's the tickets. That's Chippies. Who's on with us tonight?
We have our good friend Phil, who actually you might recognise from a certain Leeds Rhinos video from the marketing. Phil, how's life since being made famous from that video?
Celebrity status.
Yeah.
No, it's good, mate. It's good. It was a bit of a whirlwind, that really. I just had a friend who does like some media for the Rhinos, and he got in touch asking if we wanted to be involved. So the treaters like celebrities for the day, threw some free food in, some free shirts. So it was a nice touch by the club, really good, enjoyable day.
Touch for a classic guy from a classic club. If you ask me, it's a hat trick.
I've suffered over 35 years, so it was nice to get a little bit of payback, I suppose.
A little bit of something back. Well, this is the match review panel, as I said earlier, for Leeds Rhinos 2024 treble winners versus the Catalan Dragons. We'll start in true Lot Pod fashion with the positives. Phil, what positives can we as Leeds fans take from this one?
I think we've sorted our defence out.
Oh, blimey. Bloody hell.
A massive improvement on his defence. I know last year when or past couple of years, we were like not shutting teams down and just letting them stand back. But his goal line defence yesterday were massive. I thought every player stood up across on that goal line D. Saturday afternoon rugby, as Reece touched on, it works, doesn't it? You know, you have a good win and it does work. That's a real good positive. And luckily, I don't think we picked any more injuries up. You know, we're still a bit light in that pack. So we'll come out of it unscathed really after a big team against Catalan as normal. But yeah, the positives for me were the goal line D and the return of Saturday afternoon rugby.
Do you agree, Reece?
Yeah, I've got about 1,000 positives if you've got time. I think the first one.
Pod, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
The first stages of the Lot Pod when we had
this
never ever ended.
Never ending podcasts. Yeah, it's a shame we can't be in the studio tonight, but because they stay there for hours. But yeah, I think the defence was won straight away. Defence was absolutely brilliant. I think in previous years we'd have conceded a try in that first 20 minutes, and the game would have just gone away from us. But that, I mean, I always want to put the word heroic on that defence of how good it was for those first 20 minutes and weathering that storm. I thought the pack, considering that Catalan, we always know they bring a big pack. I thought our pack fronted up and matched them up really well. Without big people like Lasoni and Ledsky, that the players had to step up in the middle, and that I think they definitely did. I think we saw probably Brody Croft's best game for us so far. I think we saw Harry Newman's best game for us for a long time. I thought if we're getting that type of Newman, then the sky's the limit for this team. Yeah, I think there was just so many positives in there. I thought Jared had a really important game when he came on. Obviously, Cam, we're going to talk about his pass for a good half an hour later on. But the game it wasn't an exciting game, was it? But it was still a good game to watch. It was good from good defense, a little bit of grubby, a little bit of gritty, some good contacts. It was just a really good afternoon. So I think that's my positive. But I think we've got to start with how good that defence was for the first 20 minutes.
I agree, absolutely outstanding. And I'll ask you both. I'll start with Phil. Outstanding defence, something we haven't seen for a long time, like that kind of grit and determination, kind of like Reece says. Or do you think, Phil, we just wouldn't have played like that last year? Would have just crumbled and conceded, whereas we were really, because for pretty much for the whole first half, we were just under the pump for such a long period of time.
Yeah. I think in years gone by, we probably would have folded, or at least maybe conceded.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget some of that goal line defence and that pressure what we put on were compounded by our mistakes. Try to overplay a little bit and that type of stuff. But I think it galvanised us against a big pack and a big team like Catalans. Like, they basically threw everything what they had at us in that first 10, 15 minutes. And we kind of like sat back, absorbed it all like a boxer on ropes, really, wasn't it? Like, give us your best shot, and then we'll take it, and then we'll show you what we can do.
We'll just come back and back.
Yeah, my only thing is with the changes in the laws at minute, I don't think we can do that week in, week out, purely because, the more defending we do, the more tired as players get. We start to slide up a little bit of head contact, and then all of a sudden it's a yellow card, a red card, and then, as we've seen with Lasoni, maybe 2-3 match ban at match review panel on a Tuesday night, So, as much as it galvanises and we've shown that we can defend, we don't want to see it every week.
With that defensive effort, Reese, that we were watching yesterday as we record this, with that defensive effort, I was stood there, watching with a friend, and I just felt the way we were defending, I felt any side in the league wouldn't have got past that. The determination, the effort. Would you agree with that? I felt that
it was really it was
wrong.
It was really cohesive, though, is what I sort of come away from it. And whether this comes back to our thoughts or everyone's thoughts on how the squad togetherness is much better. You've seen loads of the players on Instagram after going, it's a team effort. It was us together. And there were certain tackles where that was really, really present. I think there was one where Bentley pretty much stopped someone about, I can't remember who it was, nearly went over the line, and they almost bent him over backwards to stop it. Newman and Roberts got hold of Tom Johnston really well, but it was a together effort. So I think you're right. I think most teams would struggle to score if we're going to play like that in defence. But I think one of the main reasons because that was because it was really cohesive. So have I gone really American on you? Defence.
I think you're right that cohesion though, because like in years gone by, if a centre had a shot out, winger had stayed put. Whereas yesterday, when Momorowski shot out, Handley went with him. So it's like they were completely, utterly in sync. So there was no gap there. So there were no gap for offence to exploit. So that cohesion in defence were really, you could see that more yesterday than what I think we've seen in times gone by.
Rowan said in his post-match press conference that Chev had worked with him so much on that defence. So massive kudos to Chev, because whatever he's doing with the guys there, the defence was absolutely outstanding, and I'd love to see more of that.
The slab defence. He called it the slab defence.
That was it, yeah. And I think we were really under the pump, and we're going to talk about Cammy and Brody in more detail later, but I think the first hit was it Croft on Fars, or was it Cammy?
It was Cammy. Cammy did one before, I think.
Cammy was the first one.
Yeah, and
I think that hit
it was really quiet, wasn't it? It was dead in the ground because we didn't have the ball. We were just defending.
There's no atmosphere.
Yeah, it was absolutely dreadful. And then Cam made that hit, and it sort of made it a bit louder. And then Brody goes and smashes Theo Farge. But after that, the crowd lifted massively. But both of those tackles are really good examples of how good that defence was.
I think the Cammy hit I think we scored off the back of that. I think we got the ball back, and then
it was after Brody's. It was a set after Brody's.
But the Cammy hit, it felt like all the hard work had paid off from that hit. It was like it was almost like exactly like Phil said. We were just that heavyweight boxer on the ropes, taking the pressure, and then bang, Cammy comes out, massive hit, and everyone's sort of like the perfect. Almost like the perfect ending, quote unquote, to that period of play, and then the cherry on top of the beautiful Rhinos coloured cake is Croft coming out and smashing Theo Fars. I think we're right to wax lyrical about this defensive effort. Would you agree, Phil?
Oh yeah, it's that old saying: you've got to defend before you can win. You've got to defend before you can attack, and I think we proved that yesterday. Cammy obviously dislodging ball, which created that mistake. Then you've got Brody Croft coming in, sitting Theo Farge down a bit. If he hadn't come in and made that tackle and made it stick, I think they'd probably scored. He's shot out the line and he's made that tackle, and then it's like you said. We've gone off back of that set and then gone down and scored. So yeah, the defense were awesome yesterday. Awesome.
I think every player played their part in it as well, didn't they?
Absolutely. 100%.
I think obviously the highlights will go to Croft at his big hit, and he did a couple more actually. I didn't realise how good in defence Croft was, to be honest. I think brilliant. He put some right hits in, but then obviously Cammy's hit will get. Cammy's hit will get the highlights. But I thought the middle did really well, controlling the middle. I thought Sangare put some really good tackles in. But I think the unsung hero of the defence in general was Momorowski.
Yeah.
What a cool head he is.
And what a good-looking bloke as well. Well said.
Of course, sorry, yeah, you do love him, don't you?
He has proved to be, like I said, a really good defender. But I think everybody's just in sync at the minute. Got that cohesion. They're just in sync with each other.
They all seem to be. It's that cliche, that classic, but everyone just seemed to be fighting for that shirt yesterday. They all just seem to be such togetherness to say, right, you lead, I'll go with you. You know, I'm gonna. If you shoot out the line, I'll take your shoulder to inside. I'll follow you everywhere. We kind of touched on Brody Croft there. We may as well jump into him. He did get the official man of the match, I think. Not sure if it was different.
He did in the ground. They said it was Brody Croft, but then I've watched the game back this afternoon, and Newman got it.
Oh, Harry got it. Well,
so I don't know
we'll
which
come
one
to
Croft
our man
was.
of the match.
Yeah, we'll come to the most important man of the match award anyway later on.
Yeah, later on. That's coming later on. Everyone, stay tuned. But in terms of Brody Croft, I think we'll stick to the defensive kind of angle that we've kind of started on. We all agree that he seems awesome in defence. Is this an added extra in terms of when we signed him, Phil? We knew what we were getting in attack, but is this kind of defensive Brody Croft we've seen just yesterday? Does that feel like an added extra, or were you kind of aware of how good he was in defence?
It's probably something you don't associate with when you say Brody Croft. You expect to just come with good attack from what he's done before, but I think credit to him, it just makes him that all more rounded player, doesn't it? That he's got that defence in his game, and he knows that he's capable of doing it. And it's probably something he's worked on over years and years, being an halfback when he's got other second rows and centres maybe target him and isolating him from other teams to take him out of that attacking fray. I think he's probably worked on it, and he's really good at it when he needs to be. And yeah, so it's just a part of his game that we can sit back and be confident knowing that, you know, when he's got them one-on-one tackles to make, he can make them.
Reece, do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think the attacking side of his play is expected, and it's a requirement, isn't it? I think, and I'm not saying that not defending is a requirement, but it is absolutely a bonus when I'm watching him play and the hits that he's making, the reads he's doing. I didn't know he had that ability, so it's a really nice surprise, because I think my mind was entirely focused on creative ability, but that defending will win us more games.
When
as
it's
a
the
result.
grand final, say it, Reece. Say it loud and proud. Say it, Reece.
The thing is, he offers that in defence, doesn't he? Whereas, like halfbacks we previously had, if they're not attacking or we're not playing good rugby and going forward, the defence ain't adding anything. Whereas, yesterday, and what we saw from Brody Croft is he can change a game with his defensive read, put a shot on, and the game flips on its head, and it comes back into our favour again.
It also means that there's no weakling. That I didn't feel that. I mean, there was one person that was potentially a weakling, but we've got a section on him coming up. But you sometimes look at the smallest guy in the field and you pick on him, or you pick on the younger player. And Brody as a halfback is one of the smallest ones, but there is certainly no weakness there at all to target, which is brilliant. People
will certainly think twice now if any sides, like you said, did have a bit of a game plan to think, right, if we're going to go on the edge, go to Croft, because they've clearly just seen now what an awesome defensive player he is. A beautiful kick from him as well for the Handley try. Did you think that were a beautiful try, that, Phil? Did that come off the back of his hit, Reece?
Yeah, so it was the...
He's essentially got us the ball back, got us up the field, and produced a beautiful assist, Phil.
Again, it's that part of his game, as Reece touched on there, what you expect, don't you? You saw that there were quite a lot of space behind the defence.
Building the attack and a kick and an assist. That is everything. It's a complete
perfect set. It's a perfect set. But he recognised, I think they had 3-on-3, didn't they? 3 attackers, 3 defenders, but no one, quite a lot of space in behind, and just bobbed it through for Ash, who, seems to be on fire at minutes scoring-wise. And I know... there were a bit of foul play, weren't they? Fujahad or whatever tackled him without the ball, so it was going to be a try either way.
I don't get that, by the way. I mean, I shouldn't really have a moan because we've won, but I'm gonna. But because I listened to it back on the telly today, and they went, it's a penalty try anyway. So, well, what's the point of looking at the grounding then? I'd rather have a kick in front of the post. if you're going to make it a penalty try rather than.
To be 100% certain he was going to score, didn't he? Like you said,
yeah,
the ground.
But yeah, it was a sublime kick though. It was on the money, and you give Ash Handley a little sniff of a chance at the moment, and it's a try.
Whether it's from 2 meters or 80, he's going to score.
Off on the car park.
Yeah, his kicking game's a threat again now, isn't it? Left hand side, right hand side, Brody Croft. We've got a viable threat with our kicking game now.
Definitely winning the treble.
Eddie's getting all like he's
100%. Reese, before we kind of go on and chew up the rest of the game, do you have the stats for us?
I do indeed. Let me just bring them back up. So I'll start with the team stats as usual. So completion rate, Eddie. What do you want to take a guess at our completion rate?
I feel it was higher. I'm going to say
so we've had 87% in round 1, 87% in round 2.
I'm going to say 88.
Phil, do you think it was higher or lower than 87?
I think it was lower.
You're both wrong. It's exactly the same. It's 87% yet again. Third game in a row with 87% completion rate. I'm at the stat.
Phil with the double bluff.
To be fair, I didn't give you the option of staying the same. I said higher or lower. But we had slight.
Mark, one of our regulars in the comments, said 75%.
Yeah.
I just thought because we made quite a few handling errors in that first when we were defending and towing his bag off, I just thought that it might be a little bit lower. But yeah, consistency across the board.
Yeah. Slightly less possession, so we only had 48% of the possession, and completed sets was at 29. Our post-contact meters was at 429 compared to their 631. Wow. A really interesting stat for me is plays of the ball in the opposition 20 metres. And this really, I think, is a really big read of the game, is that we only had 13 plays of the ball in the opposition 20 metres, whereas Catalan had 44. Which to me shows how much of the ball Catalan had to do and how much defending we've had to do. And on the flip side of when we've had an opportunity, we've taken it with so few plays in the opposition 20. And it's almost the flip of last week, isn't it? We had the plays, but we just weren't making. Oh, we were defending as much, but we conceded tries. Whereas this time we've held our own and we've taken the chances.
We were just really clinical as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then if we go into the players, so it shouldn't come as a surprise to you who made the most meters yet again. Ash Handley, although slightly lower than his normal, which is slightly disappointing, with only 159 metres.
Just 159. We'll come on to that because that's not acceptable. So
it's not acceptable for Ash, no.
We'll touch on that later in the pod. Ashley, you must. I say Ashley, you must improve.
See me after class.
I passed away.
There was no other player that got over 100 metres. So yeah, there was no other player that got over 100 metres. It was actually the lowest amount of metres we've made so far this season. A couple got close in Gudemond. Gudemond got 92 off 12 carries, so he had a 7.7 average carry. And Harry Newman had 90 off 17 carries. And it's just worth mentioning as well, Ash Handley had 24 carries again. So the amount of work that he's going through is ridiculous at the moment.
It's on fire.
Tackle competition. Cameron Smith takes his title back after Andy Ackers had it last week. So Cam had 59 tackles in total. Ackers with 43, but obviously he did come off for a period of time. Reece Martin with 42 and Gudemond with 40 as well. So Gudemond really putting a massive shift in there as well. I'm just going to flip back to meters because Duncan's a bigger fan of Lewis Roberts, so wants to know how many meters Lewis Roberts got. It was more than 10, Duncan. It was 40. In terms of errors, we had quite a few on the night again still. So we had 13 errors on the night, 2 apiece from Miller, Martin and Bentley. But we only conceded 4 penalties, which is, again, another good reason why we won. There is one amazing stat that I want to tell you about, which is Harry Newman. He had 14 tackle busts yesterday. So that has immediately taken him to the top of the tackle bus chart for Super League so far this year, because he's done 14 in one game, and that is the highest so far in Super League this season as well, in one game as well. From there, the other player I just want to sort of highlight again, and we're probably going to talk about in a bit more detail, is Ash Handley. Obviously, 5 tries in 3 games at the moment, which is top of the charts with Liam Marshall, but Liam Marshall's done it in 2. But he is way ahead in the meters chart at the moment. So off 51 carries, he has made 523 meters so far this season. So that is roughly an average of, he says, waiting for his computer to load, an average of 174 meters per game at the moment. He is averaging 10.3 meters per carry, which is just absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely. Unbelievable. Phil, it's early, it's really early. We're 3 games in. We had a lot pod. That's what we do. Is this the best version of Ash Handley? Because these 5 tries in 3, 159 metres in this game, 523 metres for the season. He's averaging 174 metres a game, Phil. Is this the best version? Is this the best we've seen Ash play?
He's always been there or thereabouts, hasn't he? He's not work shy. He'll come in and do the hard stuff and take some weight off the forwards and work away. I think he's just matured into a better, stronger player now. Probably, and like when you were the media day, he's like been the longest around the club.
Yeah.
Whether he carries that responsibility with him as well. That replicating in his performances, that he is leading by example, he's leading from the front and showing other people around him with new players coming in as well what playing for Leeds actually is and what the expectation is. But yeah, he's been great. He's always had it in him. He's always had it in him to do it, and I think he's just reaping the rewards now from really good pre-season, and took them performances into his first couple of games.
Do you agree with that, Reese? He's the best winger in the whole league.
At the moment, there's no doubt about it. Is there?
In general, Reese?
In general, no, but obviously at the moment, you can't doubt that.
First time he's been on this podcast.
Yeah, who's the best? I'm not.
Yeah.
Because Ash Handley is the best at the moment.
Liam Marshall.
Ash Handley is the best, and if you look at Wigan last year, they had I think 3 players that scored over 20 tries. If you're going to win a grand final, you need to have someone that is going to be scoring over 20 tries a season, if not more. And Ash Handley is going to be that person for us this year.
Croft, Newman, Handley. Plus, we've got 6
on your predictions. Yeah.
Hey, I'm very, very.
Take that coffee off him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think and I say in danger. It's not us in danger. It's Super League that's in danger. They're in danger of seeing a peak Ash Handley, I think, at the moment.
Oh my God, I love that, Reese. That's
because, but he's 10 years of experience now. He's always someone that's probably led from the front and probably dragged the team forward. Whereas at the moment, he's now in a team probably since he started coming into the side, the best. Probably other than 2017, he's probably got the best Rhinos squad he's ever been part of. So if he hits his peak, which I think he will do this year, he will flourish. He will be 25, 30 tries this year.
Yeah, easy. 40 to 45, I reckon. If it keeps.
And it's not just his tries though, is it? I mean, I talked about the carries. 24 carries is the 3rd highest by any Super League player this year.
That's just beast mode, that.
Yeah, it's the workload he does returning the ball. He's always one of the first people to take the ball and carry it. His workload is immense, and it's more than just try scoring. So he plays a massive part.
Good-looking guy as well. Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod.
Thanks for mentioning the media day as well, Phil. You can come back.
It's normally me that has to drop that line in.
Normally, Statman Reese's catchphrase.
So with Ash Handley, I forgot to do a stats player of the match last week, but I'm going to say that my actual stats player of the match this week is Gudemond.
Really?
What did I say? 40 tackles in total, which was I think the 4th highest. Hang on, let me just get the numbers back up.
Averaging just under 8 meters a carry.
Yeah, so 40 tackles in total, and then the second highest amount of meters with 92 off 12 carries, which was 7.7 meters per carry. He also had a clean line break as well. I think the workload that he gets through, I think he is an absolute hidden gem, and those stats for me are proving that. And Adams just probably hitting the nail on the head. As someone that goes underrated, Ablett.
Mad Dog Maguire.
Yeah, Carl Ablett's the most underrated player in the history of sport. We're talking about Mikhail Gudimon, Phil. Seems to be growing better and better each game. I'm not sure if he ever kind of played a lot of prop at Catalan or if he was 13 second row, but he certainly looks to be growing in that prop position for Leeds. Would you agree with that, Phil?
When they signed him, I thought a real good signing. He played well for Catalan. He did quite a lot of work again around that, just going about his business. And he stepped up yesterday, didn't he? Like you said, playing not out of position, but at prop, second row, etc. But yeah, I think he's been a good acquisition for the team, and if he gets that game time, he's capable of doing what we're asking him to do. Yesterday's performance will probably just try to get a return contract back to Catalan in a couple of years' time. here's what you're missing. But no, I thought he played really well yesterday, and like I said, hopefully week in, week out, he can do that, and that's his role, what he's expected to do.
Andrew in our YouTube comments, Reese, says the type of forward every good pack needs. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's absolutely hit the nail on the head on what Gudimond is. Undersung hero, work rate out of anywhere, won't light up the world, but you're someone that you can rely on consistently.
I think very quickly he's going to become a fan favourite, a bit of a almost Brett Delaney type. In that just his work rate's solid, constantly at a level of performance that's beyond acceptable. 7, almost like I'm going to say it, almost on that Reece Martin level of consistency. I could see him getting to there, like being really comfortable playing prop and just transforming into something that perhaps a lot of us didn't really expect. Silence.
I think so. Sorry, I don't disagree.
So quality of the point.
I think you're right. I think you've covered it.
Yeah, smashed it. Smashed it for 6. Harry Newman. Before we talk about how awesome he played, 14 tackle breaks and a try, etc. I'd like to talk about Harry's attitude, because I have to hold my hands up on this podcast previously. I've said his attitude stunk. His petulance drove me absolutely bonkers. Am I right, Reece, in saying we feel like we've got a new improved version of Harry Newman, where he's perhaps not getting involved into situations and gobbing off to the ref as maybe he would have done previously? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I don't think we should apologise for our comments last year, because I think that was a fair reflection of what we were all feeling about Newman. And if that had continued this year, that frustration would have stayed. But I think we are seeing someone that is happier. His future's been obviously secured for a couple of years. He's happier in himself, and happier with that. To be honest, he's part of a much better squad. He was still doing a bit of barking back yesterday. If you watch back, Kendall basically says, "Stop it, Harry." And there's one point actually where Jared just looks at him and just says something to him, and Newman shuts up. So there's still that bit in his game, but you know what? I don't want him to lose that arrogance. But like we've said before, you've almost got to earn the right to be arrogant. And people like Jack Wellsby, we might not like him, but he's arrogant, but he's a winner, isn't he? He's a winner. He scores tries, he causes problems. But that Newman on Saturday, he was outstanding. That's probably one of the best performances I've seen for Newman, probably for 2 years, I reckon. He was just causing problems as soon as he got the ball. What I love about Newman is that you can feel the crowd when Newman gets the ball, that he gets excited, because as soon as he starts stepping one player, Harry's going to make something happen. And he took his try incredibly well as well. That was a really hard finish. But there was a degree of maturity in Newman yesterday, and I really, really hope that continues and, to be honest, keeps on improving.
First of all, I just have to say for those watching on YouTube, I have to apologise to Phil because the location on the stream where he is. Every time we put a YouTube comment on, it just covers Phil's face. I have to apologise, Phil. Paul Ramsden on our YouTube comments, Phil, says the England spot has been good for Harry. Paul's not the only one to say this about getting picked for England, being around that squad, perhaps even Sean Wayne speaking to him. Do you think that's had a big effect on him and in terms of his career, of his attitude?
Yeah, I think Harry Newman is one of the best talents in Super League, probably by far, probably one of the best players within the league. I think, as Reece said there, if you take that little bit of arrogance and that little bit of cockiness out of his game, you might not have that same player. But I think, the England spot there and being around different people and different professionals is probably maybe giving a little bit more of an insight as to what he can achieve if he applies himself in the right way. And a lot more mature Harry Newman is better for Leeds. But I think we're playing a style of rugby which suits his game. A little bit more freedom. He's got more freedom to come, get the ball. And as like Reece said, he makes that crowd stand up and off he goes. But I think if you take that little bit of arrogance and that little bit of cockiness out of his game, I don't think he'd be that same player. So I think, let him carry on with it. As long as it's managed in the right way and it's channeled in the right way, we'll get all the benefits from it.
Agreed. I also think, Reece, that when you mentioned there that he signed a new 2-year deal, I think that's the first time we've ever said that this year. I don't ever recall us commenting on it. Is that right?
We must have done.
I don't think we have.
We're a pretty crap podcast, Leeds Rhinos podcast, if we've not mentioned that one of our best players has got a new contract.
I genuinely, I'm scratching my head, genuinely. And I don't
but he only mentioned it yesterday. I know he has, but he mentioned it yesterday, didn't he? Saying that his future's done well 2026 and he's out now.
Saved us.
He did mention it in yesterday's man at match speech.
As Duncan said, he spoke really well in that post-match press conference as well. And again, it surprised me a bit, actually. I didn't realise that Harry... It was, I don't know, maybe because of this taking view I have of a bit of the petulance from last year, but again, it just aligned with the performance. There was maturity in there, although apparently he was flicking Jordan Abdul, the bird, after one of the tries, apparently getting in his face, which again, as Phil says, if you lose that, you don't have as good a player.
Yeah.
That just makes me love him even more.
Exactly.
Even more. Talking of players who wound up Jordan Abdul, James Bentley.
He's back.
Bentley. Yep, I still love his hair, still love his headband. The look is absolutely killing it. Did we see two sides of James Bentley yesterday, Reece? Good and bad. Lots of work, great work rate. But then, of course, the elbow, the forearm into Tarek Sims on the floor.
Yeah, I can't make my mind up on Bentley's performance yesterday because someone behind me said he's putting in a padded cell and a straight jacket, and there was part of the game where that liability Bentley was a bit present. The elbow to Sims was probably quite just because Tarek Sims lays him out in his head on the flop. So, if every player was going to react, I just think that Bentley has to control the way that he does react sometimes. But his work rate was insane, wasn't he? He was running all over the place, making tackles left, right and centre. And I think yesterday he got under the skin of quite a few players, but I think he also got under his own skin as well, a little bit. But again, I don't want to lose that from Bentley's game because I think he's half a player, or half the player he could be if that's not there. I still can't make my mind up whether I enjoyed his performance yesterday or not.
Did you enjoy his performance yesterday, Phil?
50-50.
It seems like we're all in the same boat. It'd be nice to see what our people in our YouTube chat think. Carry on, Phil.
Again, he's got that work ethic, hasn't he? And we know he's capable of that, but we also know that he can see that red mist. And like you said, Tarek Sims did take his head off, but we don't need him to retaliate. And as daft as it's, the referee's got to take control of that. But I don't think you'll see. I think he'll get banned for that elbow on Tarek Sims afterwards.
Definitely.
He's definitely got some more time on bench coming, but I don't know. I thought in pre-season with the videos Rhinos put out, I thought he was training house down and we were going to get a new revolutionised James Bentley. And real strong performances from him. But again, you can't take it out of his game. But it's how you manage it and that type of stuff for me. But I think, yesterday we're a little bit of a loose cannon, really.
I think
he has made the most errors of any Leeds player so far this year, and has conceded the most penalties of any Leeds player this year. The errors, I'm not sure what they have come from. The penalties bit does concern me a bit, because that we've seen two games where we've conceded loads of penalties and we've lost, and one where we've conceded barely any penalties and we've won. And I think that's a part of Bentley's game that I think he has to control better. But he will get a ban for elbowing Sims in the face. I mean, Tompkins saying it should have been a red after the game. Everyone in the crowd were around me going, "That's 2 red cards." We were both expecting 2 red cards.
Yeah, agreed.
I also enjoyed the applause when Kendall just didn't send them off, and everyone was like, "Oh, Rugby League's back for a second here."
Rugby League that we know and love back.
But if he does get banned, McDonald's fit. Last time Bentley missed a game last year, he never got the shirt back.
Yeah.
I've got to say, we won't have to worry about him for the next 2 to 3 weeks.
No, because he's definitely going to get at least a 2-game ban. I think if just on when Sims did put the hit on him, if James doesn't react the way he does or did, then the referee has to make a decision then. It's almost as if the way he reacts, obviously he's obviously an aggressive type of guy and wants to react to certain things, but if he takes that away from his game, which a couple of our comments on YouTube on live chat have said, the referee then has to make the decision. He can appeal to the ref to say he has just, whatever the offence may be. But if he reacts to it, he's putting himself in situations that perhaps he doesn't have to be in. But then I agree with what both of you have said, similar to Harry Newman. Like, if you take certain things away, do you get a different, softer version? Because part of me, I didn't like when he did the elbow and some of the things he's done previously. But then the other part of me absolutely loves and thrives when
when he threw that ball at Abdul after Abdul pushed him out into the boards. That was good.
I'm off my seat in the south stand, shouting at him, saying that is absolutely awesome. So I think I'm with you too. It's a 50-50. It's not a love-hate relationship, because I don't hate the guy at all.
Yeah.
And I think I think it was Charlie in our YouTube comments said, I feel sometimes he's over-eager and just trying to do a bit too much. So I think he just has to find a nice balance between being the wind-up merchant that we all love, that we loved at Catalans away in 2022 in the playoffs, and what he was doing with Abdul, and the version where he's retaliating and reacting to things that perhaps he doesn't have to. But then again, I don't know if that kills his game.
I think it makes sense. And I think, like you said, if he reads that situation, he'll know what he can get away with and what he can't get away with.
Maybe he just has to fine-tune his...
the throwing the ball back at Abdul, fine. Keep doing that. I'm not fine with you. Just can't elbow someone in the head, can you?
Yeah.
You could have still pushed him on the chest and the floor, or still got on his face, couldn't you? But, you could still have that reaction bit, but just don't go elbowing people in the face. Let's not be stupid. But I still think this is the best James Bentley performance of the 3 we've seen this year,
without a doubt. Without a doubt. Just to finish up on Bentley Corner, we'll call it. Just quickly, Phil, do you think he'll be banned, and for how many games?
Yeah, he won't get let off for previous good behaviour, will he? I don't think. But I think he'll get 2 to 3 maybe.
Yeah.
If you go on Lissoni's,
it's
going to be he's deliberately elbowed him, hasn't he? So he's got to be 2 to 3 at least.
It's going to be a grade D, and it'll normally be 2. Bentley's got a bit of previous on it, so it'll be 3.
And then we'll appeal it and get a frivolous appeal and give him 4
again.
Let's just never rhinos. Let's just never appeal anymore. Just accept them. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Right, everyone, strap yourselves in. Cam Smith Appreciation Society, get your badges on. We're now going to talk about the man that is Cam Smith, the captain, the leader, number 13, friend of the pod, of course, with a beautiful mullet Before we speak about the ball, should we call it the ball or the pass? What do you reckon?
The pass.
I was going to think of the ball.
Pass.
Really?
The pass.
I always say, what a ball that is. What a pass. Before we talk about the pass, his performance in general, 59 tackles, Reece. Lovely hit in the first half that we've kind of mentioned. Just always seems to be involved, always seems to be around the ball. Clearly got an enormous intelligence in terms of rugby league. What did you make of his performance prior to or without talking about the pass?
Up until that moment, I don't think he's really been doing much that makes him stand out, other than the immense work rate and the tackles that you will always just expect now from Cammy.
Other than those two amazing things.
Yeah, but you expect him to be in the thick of it in defence, but I think that role he plays is leading from the front, making that big hit is leading from the front. It's exactly why he has that captain's role, because he doesn't. I really enjoy watching Cam. I love watching the structure he brings. I love how he takes the ball to the line. I love his defence, and yesterday was just the biggest comment. It's standard. It's a standard what I expect of Cam.
Do you agree, Phil?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I think because we've got two halfbacks who know what they're doing a little bit more. Again, I think he's got a little bit more freedom to play like a proper loose forward. He can come in when he wants in attack, drop back out, and he plays a little bit more structured. But yeah, it's that expectation of what we've seen from him over the past few years and what we expect week in, week out.
Has becoming... I'm choking up there, Jamie. Choking up. Has becoming captain, Reece, elevated his game even further than last year?
I don't think he's. I think he's just as good as he's always been. I think the captain role was implied last year, especially towards the second half of the season. So, and I don't think. I think that him being captain doesn't. I won't say elevate his game in the pitch. I think it elevates the team as a whole better than it does because his game is still just as good or is still sky high in general. So I think actually him being captain's elevating the squad more than his own performances.
As a true captain does. I think.
Yeah.
I think he's 10 times better than he was last year, and I think the captaincy and kind of wearing that 13 shirt, being a Leeds lad, has just pulled him even further in terms of his form and elevated him to an even higher place. Is it absolutely, cover your ears, Harry, fucking mental that he's not getting picked for England, Phil?
Yeah. He's a natural born leader in that role, isn't he? You know, and like you said, it elevates certain parts of his game to the higher level, and he's got to be braying that door down for an England call-up. How he don't get picked, even just in the squad, you know, but he should be playing anyway. He's one of the best loose forwards in Super League.
The world.
The world.
I mean, out of any of the loose forwards in the league so far, he's made the most meters and the most tackles.
Yeah, and again, you know what you're getting.
Second most tackles. So,
but you get, the captaincy. He sort of like fell into it last year anyway, didn't he? Even though we had the leadership group, he was a natural born leader. But yeah, he should be getting that England call up, and it just suits his game. It suits his game, just being a leader.
If he doesn't get an England call up for the next squads, whenever that may be, he should just change nationality. I'd just, he'll have a Scottish grandparent, or go join Jamaica, Cam. Just go play for someone else. England.
To be fair, with the international rules in rugby league, you could probably do that.
That's right.
I once got on a flight to New Zealand, so therefore I can go play for them.
That's what I mean. And it's crazy. He should be playing international rugby. The England player should go on strike. Say, look, we want Cammy in this squad.
The England players and the lot pod will go on strike if he doesn't get picked. Loads of people agreeing with us in our YouTube comments. Ginny B says, real captain's performance yesterday, I thought. Joe Binns says, Cam Smith's decision-making was perfect all game. Mark says he's grown into the captaincy and earned that 13 shirt. And Duncan says the best all-round game for a 13.
So we talk about the pass then?
100% agree with all those comments. So on to the pass.
Hang on. The pass.
Yeah, the pass. Fifth tackle on our own 30-ish. Croft goes wide to Newman. Newman goes to Roberts. Roberts with a kick, hits a Dragons player. Newman scoops it back up, ball back inside to Leon Ruin. At this point, he's running towards, is it Fuad Yaha? Is that the right name?
Yeah.
I am standing again from my South Stand seat. My prawn sandwich goes flying, and I am screaming at Leon Ruin to just run over Yaha. I'm just saying, just run over him. Just continue on that line. You're running, run over him. What does he do instead? Surprises us all with the step of the season. Steps past him. Inside ball to Frawley. Frawley then gets tackled. Quick play of the ball. James McDonald's running to the play of the ball. And then Cammy just says...
Cammy pushes him out of the way.
Get out of the way, sunshine.
Not
I've
today,
been
lads.
watching this unfold before my eyes, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. Scoops the ball up from the Frawley play of the ball and just pings what I can only describe as a Kevin Sinfield pass. Straight over. Who's on the wing? Is it Yaha? It's perfectly looped ball into Ash Handley's hands, and he just strolls in and scores a try. Is that the perfect description? Have I missed anything, gentlemen?
I think you've nailed it absolutely on the head, because I think my favourite bit about Cam's involvement is that the play of the ball, it gets made. You can see McDonald run towards it, and Cam just goes, nope, no, not today.
I also love that James McDonald is making his way to the player ball thinking no one's here, but then when he sees Cam there, he starts walking right. Right, Cam's here now. He's got this.
And Cam said in his post-match that I had one job at that point, and it was to get the ball to Ash.
The intelligence there, it's off the scale.
The decision making when he's like said there, he's clocked McDonald there. You're not having it. And then when he even picks the ball up, he didn't panic, did he? You know what I mean? He took a couple of steps forward, assessed what around him, and then pinged that perler of a pass to Ash Handley.
It's perfect, isn't it? If Cam has if those movies where they'll stop in time, if Cam was going to just stop in time and put the ball exactly where he wanted it, that's exactly where the pass went. It was it's as good as Croft's kick against Salford in round 2. You can't absolutely on the money. Now I know Catalan were offside, and it wouldn't have happened, if Catalan knocked it on or whatever. If
Croft kick off Cam.
But the pass, I've heard people say, well, it could have been intercepted or whatever, but it wouldn't have been because they were offside. But that's how good the pass was, because it was that dangerous in terms of decision, but executed so well that
under them circumstances as well, they could try and replicate that last play, ever ending so many times from now till end of the season in training, do whatever, and it still won't finish with that like it was. It's not easy to do what he did.
And what I like about that try as well, apparently Rowan Smith's halftime comments was less offloads and stop making silly mistakes and risky passes. And what we started doing on fifth tackle, throwing it out wide, kicking it, doing an overhead passes over 5 players. Yeah, sorry Rowan, we're going to play like that all year.
With the assist, wasn't it? He got the assist from the back to one with a kick.
Yeah.
Just the confidence of himself to back himself. He's obviously watching the play as we're moving forward, and he just says, I can hit this pass. Like Phil said, just takes 2 steps and then bang. And people say, oh, that could have been intercepted. It wasn't intercepted. It was the absolutely perfect ball to the perfect bloke to just stroll in. I don't think, and I don't think it can be. We need to continually wax lyrical about this, and I'm glad that Sky have put it across all their socials to kind of say this is the pass, along with the Brody Croft hit. But I'm in awe of him, and I really am. I genuinely mean that. I know we've got the society and things, but I genuinely am. And every game I see him, and he always surprises me. And I kind of think I've seen the full finished article. I've seen the full version of Cam Smith, but he's just getting better and better and better. And if he doesn't play for England, it's an absolute travesty. And I know we've got Victor Radley playing 13 for England. I've nothing against that. Radley, an awesome player. But maybe Cam needs to go to Australia and fill in 13 for Australia if he doesn't get in this England side. Cam Smith corner. Reese, as always, for this year's Lot Pod, we've got player ratings, and you very kindly put the forms together, uploaded it to X earlier. Do we have the results?
We do.
Player ratings.
We do. Some good numbers, as you would probably suspect. Lots of new high scores for players. So, as usual, gents, react as we go along if you're upset or agree. Lucky Miller, 6.6.
Probably.
I think that's bang on, to be honest.
I think it's slightly low. I'd probably give him a 7. I really liked what he did.
Too many little mistakes at the start of the game for me. But, yeah. Lewis Roberts, 6.5. That is his highest of the year, to be fair.
Probably rings true, yeah. Probably rings true.
Harry Newman, 7.8.
Slightly low.
I think that's criminally low.
Yeah, I thought it'd be
slightly low. Probably said 8.5.
Yeah. Momorovsky, 7.1. Ash Handley, with his highest of the year so far, 8.7. So the week that Ash doesn't score a length of the field try, he gets his highest score of the round. Brody Croft with his highest, 8.4. Matt Frawley.
Ash got a higher score than Brody.
Brody Croft, yeah.
Wow.
Matt Frawley with his highest score, 6.7. Sangare, 6.4. Ackers, 6.8. Gudemond, 7.4. Bentley, 6.4. Reese, 7. Cam Smith, 8.2. Tom Holroyd, 6.
Way too low. What was it? 8.2 for Cam.
8.2 for Cam. Tom Holroyd, 6.2. Jared, 6.7. James McDonnell, 6.7. And Leon Ruin, 6.8. And Rowan Smith, 7.3.
7.3 for Rowan. Is that the highest this year?
That is Rowan's highest by some way, yeah. I think his highest was 6.3 before that.
Off the back of a great win.
But I think that reflects the interchanges he made, the way we came out and played. I think that's a fair reflection for Rowan.
So the player ratings from our viewers, from the people on X, was Ash Handley.
Yet again, yeah.
Ash again, 8.7.
And I've got a feeling we're going to deny him it 3 weeks in a row now. So he's not that much of a friend of the pod because we keep denying him our Fast Signs player of the match. I think I've got 3 nominations. It might even be 4. So I'll have to whittle it down.
In at number 4.
But my nominations are Newman.
And 3.
Croft, Gudemond, and Cam.
So who's number 1 this week, mates?
I think it should go to... It's between Newman and Croft, I think, for me.
Is it really? Is it a toss of a coin? How are you?
I'm going to give it to Croft. I thought he was involved in...
I felt it was quite an easy... But apparently not.
No, I almost kind of want to give it to Newman because of how good he was and the journey that he's sort of been on in the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But Croft, I think for me, he was involved in both of the two tries. Great defensive performance. I'm going to give it to Croft.
Phil, player of the match for you?
I had Handley, Croft, Newman, and my man at match was Harry Newman. Purely just because of his threat. His threat. His work. He's breaking the line. Finished his try. Just looked dangerous. And on the ratings, I give him the highest rating. But yeah, so my man at match is Harry Newman.
I've got the deciding vote, Reese. Again. Oh my God. Well, it's not the deciding vote because I'm not going to choose either of those players. My man of the match was Lewis Roberts, Duncan. He thought he had a... No, I'm joking. I agree with Reese. I think Brody Croft was the man of the match. His hit on Farge, his kick through for Ash Handley, but that was a close run thing between Croft and Newman and Handley. To be fair, I think either one of those could have won it. But the official Fast Signs player of the match, Lot Pod player of the match, is Brody Croft. I think that's it for us. Anything else, gents, before we sign off?
Nope, not for me.
No Chris Corner. Producer Chris isn't with us, so we don't have a conundrum this week. And as you probably realised, we're not in the ACD&B studios. We've dialed in live. We do upload all of our podcasts to our YouTube channel. So head over to YouTube and search The Lot Pod. Please do subscribe. We must talk about, Reese, our recent video with Glyn Bell, which is available on the YouTube channel. I've had lots of lovely comments about Glyn. He is a Rhinos legend. We are still editing part 2. That is still to come. But in part 2 of the video, Glyn talks us through all the shirts of his career. That'll probably come at some point this week. Do hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell on YouTube, and we'll see you all next time for the midweek roundup. Take care.